So I picked up an Arcade1Up Killer Instinct arcade cabinet for only $149? As most of the diehards in the arcade and gaming community know, Arcade1Up did a flash sale where they were selling this Killer Instinct cabinet for $149. Many people placed orders, myself included, and many people had their orders mysteriously canceled by Arcade1Up. I was one of the lucky ones that did not get a cancellation. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know I'm a Mortal Kombat guy, right? Like Mortal Kombat and a few other titles are my main go-to fighting games. When it comes to Killer Instinct, it's not one of my main go-tos, so when this arcade came out, I really didn't have any interest in it. But for $149, I figured, hey man, it's worth a shot. Plus, supposedly there's a mystery encoder mod coming for this cabinet. There's things that I might want to tinker with in film, etc. So I figured, why not? I'd go ahead and pick it up. And I was pleasantly surprised with what I received. Minus the seam in the extended side panels, in order to get this thing to be taller, the artwork on this cabinet looks really good. Love how simple things are. Black, Killer Instinct logos, Spinal looks awesome on the side of the cabinet, as well as that coin door on the front. We have a 17-inch BOE monitor, a pretty decent sound system in this arcade cabinet. I think it sounds just fine. Light-up marquee is terrible. Whether it's turned off or powered on, the light-up marquee looks horrible. But minus that, everything else appearance-wise on the arcade cabinet is okay. As part of the mods for this cabinet, I'll probably end up putting in a better marquee here, maybe Sabo's slip-on marquee or Retro 530. The later generation Arcade1Ups, the ones starting in, late 2022 and then now 2023, obviously the height is much better, the control panel's higher, viewing angles are better. I have no issues seeing the screen whatsoever on this arcade compared to, let's say, the Street Fighter next to it. I do really like the artwork on the control panel. I think it looks as good as it can get, considering you're trying to recreate the Killer Instinct control panel, but put it in a smaller 3/4 scale size. The light-up deck protector, honestly, is kind of dumb in my opinion. I don't think it was needed for this arcade. I'm just kind of indifferent to it, because I can just leave it off. But if I have it on, I'll choose blue. You'll notice on this standard edition Killer Instinct cabinet, because they did release a Pro Edition a little bit later on, this standard edition does have a very minor edge to it on the side here that you can kind of bang with your hands when you're playing. There's not really a lot of space to rest your hands. But then again, after I played it, I actually didn't have any issues with it. I was able to play comfortably, no concerns. Only real concern is the buttons are the same mushy buttons they've given us for years. The joystick itself is of better quality. They did start improving these in 2022 and now in 2023 on a lot of their fighting cabinets, so the joystick is better. Casual players won't mind it. And as you know, the most competitive of players who want to have the best fighting game experiences as possible, especially with this being an online fighting game compatible cabinet, well, they're definitely going to probably want to replace their joysticks and buttons with more premium quality stuff. Now, this arcade was released over a year ago by Arcade1Up, and then they had a Pro Edition come out earlier this year. Pro Edition did not get so many positive reviews. This Standard Edition got a bunch of mixed reviews because, over a year ago, this thing had issues. I remember when it was released, there were bugs in the game. It was missing features such as spectate mode and being able to, quarter in and be the next player, while you're spectating to fight the guys that you're watching once they get their first to 3 matches or things like that. And, there were a lot of bugs and issues that were discovered, but Code Mystics, who partnered with Arcade1Up and released this cabinet, they ended up fixing many of those issues, and I really haven't heard anyone complaining about it in a very long time. When it comes to games included, there's 5 games on this arcade. 2 of them are kind of throwaway games. You got 8-bit Battletoads and 16-bit Battletoads. They're pretty much the same game, except one is 8-bit Battletoads, the other one's 16-bit Battletoads. Right here, we're looking at 8-bit Battletoads. The games emulate fine. A lot of people probably would have preferred more arcade games be added to the lineup, but honestly, I'm kind of digging them. I enjoyed checking out the differences between 8-bit and 16-bit, and I don't mind sitting there at the arcade on a stool and playing through these games. We just saw the 8-bit Battletoads. Here's a quick look at the 16-bit Battletoads. Notice anything similar? Yes, pretty much the same games, although there are differences in gameplay and things that happen and all that if you actually play through all the games. So it is kind of a new experience, kind of like you play a game and then you play a more enhanced version of that game. I don't know if that makes sense. Either way, I'm actually liking these games on here and I'm enjoying checking them out. But for me, for right now, my favorite game on this arcade is Battletoads the Arcade game. Super happy that they included this on this Killer Instinct arcade cabinet. Gives you a nice change of pace from the fighting games that are included on there. Battletoads is a fantastic beat-em-up game. I've always enjoyed it. It's always super fun to play on multicades and things like that. But what's really nice about this Arcade1Up version is the ability to easily play online co-op player with another player and play this beat-em-up game through and do it again and again if you want and have a good time, good experience. I think that's pretty cool in my opinion, and who doesn't like Battletoads, man? This is a great game, and it's fun, it's colorful, it's humorous. You know, it's got blood in it, for crying out loud. I mean, it's good times, man, so I'm happy to see Battletoads on here. You know, one advantage of waiting well over a year to pick up this arcade cabinet is the fact that all of the early first day issues, the bugs, missing features, so much of that stuff has been fixed by Code Mystics, so big shout out to them, as well as to Arcade1Up for improving this arcade cabinet along the way. If I had reviewed this thing a year ago, I probably would have been like a lot of other people and just crapped all over the emulation, the bugs in the game, as well as the lack of spectating mode and features and things like that. But since I was able now to just spectate and watch some other guys fight, and once the winner got chosen, well, my quarter was already in. My quarter was on the glass. Well, now I'm playing the winner. It's really cool, man, and it makes for a fun online experience. I ended up fighting this guy. His name's Combo, is his online name, and we ended up playing first to 3, and he did beat me 3-1. I did get one win on him, so kudos there, man. Again, Mortal Kombat is my game. When it comes to Killer Instinct, Killer Instinct's not really my jam. But it's fun to learn. I mean, that's for sure. It's definitely a totally different way to play, especially with the whole charge back, charge forward, charge back again. And when I'm so used to doing different kind of button combos, like Mortal Kombat style, if you will, things like that versus charge back, charge forward. You know, it's kind of fun to learn. And the more you play, obviously, the better you get at it. Ended up having a really good online fight with this guy. So kudos to you, sir, for helping me out and playing me and kicking my butt, man. Also, all the different features on the social options, favorites list, block lists, recently played, the different account setups and things you can do are fantastic on here. This might be one of the most well-rounded fighting game arcades that Arcade1Up has released as of today. So final thoughts when it comes to this arcade cabinet would be, it really, really sucks that many people who went for that $149 deal got screwed out of that deal and weren't able to complete their purchase and get their arcade cabinet. Arcade1Up needs to fix those issues moving forward. Some people like me who received the cabinet, I am actually very, very pleasantly surprised with what I received. And I might be so bold as to say that out of all the Arcade1Up fighting game arcade cabinets I've owned, this might actually be the best one out of all of them. This arcade cabinet does it all. The emulation is fantastic. The gameplay, the sound, everything is great. Minus, you know, a crappy marquee and mushy buttons and a big seam on the side panel. Minus that stuff, everything else is a win here. Hats off to Arcade1Up and Code Mystics. I really like this arcade cabinet. I'm sure many of you own it, but if you don't own it, if you can find it in the future at a great price, I would definitely recommend it. Let me know what you think, though, guys. Give me your thoughts, feedback, reactions below. If you enjoyed this quick 1 year later review, give me a thumbs up on the way out. And as always, my dudes, thank you for subscribing.